All right, first off, let me give some love to Josh Orlowski, great bartender here. He is shooting this on the Samsung Galaxy S7. Ladies and gentlemen, the world tour of your Pratt Pat has finally arrived in the hometown of yours truly, and this bar has been here for over 60 years. John and Renee Bloom, and it is the Corner Grill. I'm telling Greg Diolis, my grandmother lived at the end of the 300 block here, and I grew up here. And went to Cradle's Market across the street. Father Cradle now, of course, the wonderful priest at Holy Family, which is just down over the hill. And today would have been my grandmother Marie Bango's 100th birthday. It wasn't planned. It's fate. It's all fate. All right, the fate obviously was in the hands of the Penguins, and thanks to Nick Bonino, he shoots, he scores an OT. They're moving on to play Tampa. We'll get to that in a moment. But man, a clutch goal for that young man.
Turned into a real switch up, didn't it, Rob? I mean, you're up 3-0. You think you're on cruise. Maybe turn it into a 6-0 blowout. Everybody leaves happy. All of a sudden, the Penguins decide that we want to shoot pucks over the glass all over the hockey rink. Getting three of those crazy penalties opened up the door to a comeback for the Capitals, but in the end, everything worked out quite well.
And Toronto is probably saying, why did we let Phil Kessel go? 2 goals, Matt Murray, spectacular. But the thing that I think that amazes me the most about this Mike Sullivan team is how fast they can giddy up on those skates. And he told them to stay focused, play hard, and skate fast. And they never let up on the Penguins.
No, they really didn't. And it was kind of poetic justice that Brooks Orpik got the big penalty that opened the gates to a couple of power play goals for the Penguins that really turned that thing around for the Penguins. But you're right, the speed that the Penguins were showing, and that's going to be important in this next series because the Tampa Bay really can fly, and that's something that we're going to have to try to match.
We're going to talk about Tampa Bay. They, of course, eliminated Detroit and the Islanders to get to the conference final. And during the regular season, they beat the Pens all 3 games. Ben Bishop and Andrei Vasilevsky, the goalies, who will be someone that we're both going to have to be watching, as will the Penguin fans. But your thoughts about the Tampa Bay Lightning? We'll get to some of the other guys as well that are going to be a big reason why this is going to be a whole lot harder than people think.
Well, I think a lot of the key to this thing, Rob, is that this is not the same Penguin team that the Tampa Bay Lightning were playing early in the hockey season. Completely revamped, new coach comes in, everything has changed, so they're not looking at the same things that they were looking at while they were playing. So that's where it's going to be really important for the Penguins to kind of emphasize to themselves, we're not the same team that lost 3 in a row to these guys.
All right, Victor Hedman, 4 goals and 8 points, and these 2 guys, Andres Palat and Hedman, have been on some kind of a roll over the last 10 games. That's a great 1-2 punch.
It is, Rob, but you know what? They weren't playing the same caliber of opponent that the Penguins were playing. So the luck of the draw a little bit from Tampa Bay's perspective. And, momentum is about the first drop of the puck, and everybody goes crazy. Penguins with home ice now, which is, pretty nice thing since we didn't have it last time around. Everybody says it's not important until you have it. Now you got to emphasize, we've got home ice. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, it'll be, again, 8 o'clock on Friday night. Josh Orlowski, who's shooting the video, was at the Verizon Center for that clinching Game 6 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He said it was just absolutely an awesome experience. Let's just talk about Crosby and Malcolm a little bit. I know they're both disappointed, but you have to be happy that the young guys have stepped it up. And what I keep thinking and hoping that the hockey gods come through, if these 2 guys get in the room, that's just going to be a little icing on the cake.
Well, I guess that's why they call it a hockey team, Rob. This is all about a team aspect. And while these guys didn't necessarily put up big numbers in these playoff series, they're still going to fulfill the dreams of all the Penguin fans by playing this type of hockey that they do. And still make that, especially if they can get the power play going, they're going to be in great shape.
We'll be talking much more about it on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. But remember, it's our city, our team, our beer. Eddie Shewak Distributing, of course, the Bloom family. They buy local, support local, and Mr. Diolis drinks local, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's talk the Pirates. They're playing the Reds right now. The Buccos 17-15. They need some help. They started off this year against their division opponents 8-3, but now they've been 6-8 in the division. They got beat by the Reds on Monday, rained out last night. Nicasio going tonight against Alfredo Simon. They've got to start beating some of these teams, especially the Reds. All teams have been a real thorn in their side.
And it's funny, the Reds are really a bad baseball team right now, but for some reason they just kind of have the Pirates number. Billy Hamilton looks like Ty Cobb when he's playing against the Pirates. The guy's just stealing bases everywhere, making great plays in the outfield. He makes life miserable for the Pirates. But it's so early in the season, you just got to not lose touch with the Chicago Cubs, which we are a little bit in danger of.
Yeah, and they went up against the worst bullpen in baseball Monday and went 3 hitless innings. So they just got to figure it out, and hopefully they will. Still very early in the season, so we wish them nothing but the best. Of course, you can hear that game right now on 93.7 The Fan. Okay. You were at Shadow Lakes earlier today. Dirk Hartman, I'm sure, and Jean-Sebastian Aubin, he's always thinking hockey, but they love the game of golf. The 5th major tees off tomorrow at the historic Sawgrass, the Island Hole Stadium Golf. Ricky Fowler, the defending champion. 600 points up for grabs, FedEx Cup. This is big, and the best of the best will be there. The number 1 according to the FedEx Cup rankings, Adam Scott. Number 2, Jason Day. Rory McIlroy coming off that 66, the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. He'll be there, and of course, the legend that is Phil Mickelson. Tiger won't, but I understand he's getting close, so that's great. But let's talk about this amazing event, which is the 5th major, according to a lot of folks, the Players' Championship starting tomorrow.
I really think this rivals the PGA as far as the major tournaments. Much like in college football, the Fiesta Bowl kind of became the 5th of the granddaddies type game. This is one of those events that everybody shoots for. They love that golf course. It's a showcase of the PGA. And that's one of the things that's most important is they love to play that place that is so important to the PGA. You have those beautiful stadium-type greens toward the end with 17 being on the island and then 18 with a beautiful finishing hole. That's why that course is so nice and why these guys kind of getting geared up toward the U.S. Open makes this one of those ones to point to when you look at the golf calendar.
And it's also the first time Jordan Spieth has teed it up since that meltdown at the Masters. I don't think he's going to be affected at all.
I'm in your corner on that one. I think that he has shaken that off very well. He showed a lot of poise just coming out, and I think he's becoming a Pittsburgh favorite, coming out to Oaklawn and having a practice round, then doing the appearance at the FedEx headquarters. He's the kind of kid that he's a Pittsburgh type kid, even though he's not from Pittsburgh. I think everybody can kind of get their arms around him. He will be a big favorite when it comes to the U.S. Open.
All right, a couple more thoughts with the historic Corner Grill. They always got great Miller Lite specials when the Buccos are on, like now. And of course, Penguins, they've got specials, they've got great food. This is the place to go, folks, because it's old school with that new rule as far as sports bars. You get a flavor of the past and you can plug into what's going on now. Great service, good people, a lot of fun, and it really is what a neighborhood bar should be. I mean, anywhere in the country. And thanks to John and Renee Bloom for letting us come here tonight and do this Facebook blog and YouTube blog. Listen, I want to talk about some of these guys like Adam Scott. The thing that I noticed about the world's number 1, he plays big when he has to play big.
Isn't that amazing? You know, those minor tournaments, he never, it's almost like he's unheard of. But when all of the lights are on and everybody's pointing at him, he's that type of guy that's going to show up and really play large.
And Jason Day with the big swing.
And we talked about him, a couple of weeks ago too on the Black and Gold Sunday show, with the way that he keeps his body so toned and tuned up and ready to play golf. He's a guy that really could be one of those guys who's around for an awful long time, and it could be one of those ones who makes runs at majors that could rival some records.
All right, here's some guys you may not have heard of, but they're doing okay this year in the FedEx Cup standings. Number 4, Russell Knox having a great season, and you've got Kevin Kisner, who was in a playoff last year there. So you know what? It's nice to know there's still young guys knocking at the door.
It is, and those are the types of guys who, once they kind of break through to get that big victory in one of these types of events, all of a sudden now they're the Jordan Spieth that we always want to talk about. So, and these guys can play some golf.
All right, just a couple more. Bubba Watson, accuracy going to be a key for him because when he's on, he's on.
And there were a lot of interviewers talking earlier today about the fact that this is the kind of course that likes a player who can shape his shots. And Bubba is the key to that. I mean, he'll hit what he wants to be a hook, and he'll hook the ball 45 yards to right where he wants to go. I love watching him play because when you see that ball on the screen and it's going off the edge of the camera angle, you're thinking, oh crap, he's in the woods, and that sucker's got a big bend on it, it's coming right back in.
Ricky Fowler, who a guy I'm a big fan of, defending champ, obviously. I think that means a little bit to him. That was like his first, grab of the brass ring, if you will.
Yeah.
So he's going to be really stoked for this trip.
as much as you like Ricky Fowler, we got to get you some Puma gear, man.
I know.
mean, he's all about the Puma stuff, and he is classic though. I do love a guy that's a little bit of a showman. Kind of makes you feel a little bit like Dean Stewart used to feel. He's a showman in that way.
All right, last one, my favorite, lefty, Phil Mickelson. I know he's struggling a bit, but you know he can break out at any time. And to him, it's all about the majors now. And this is the next step to the U.S. Open. So he wants to have a good showing here.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. And, he came out of the blocks really fast. January, he was really solid, playing very well on that California swing. But now he seems to have cooled off. But again, this being one of those close to a major type events, he'll be in the money.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it from the Corner Grill. Thanks to Josh Orlowski, John and Renee Bloom. And at the end of the bar, from the Tribune Review, a man back in the day who got me off on the right foot in this world of sports and sports talk, the great Vince Townley, ladies and gentlemen. If you hurry, he is selling autographs, so get down here quickly. In the meantime, hey, enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the Players' Championship. Let's go Pens, and hopefully tonight the Bucks will get a win at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Good night.